Greetings, everyone. This will not be a marathon hangout. Going to go over a series of things. We will visit the angry Inspector Clouseau, just because it's fun. And I'm going to share something from NASA that somebody shared in the chat yesterday. The budget estimate. Good heavens. Now, first, I'm going to share a video from what was Sargon of Akkad before his channel was killed. Now he's back on YouTube, but he's also on other platforms. I'm going to share a video that he posted, which was passed to me today by somebody who will remain anonymous, which is very good. Now, before I play it, I will say this. When an imposter levels claims of any allegations against someone, well, they can't really stand by them because they're an imposter, and if they come forward, to court, then they're caught for not only their claims but also the being an imposter part, which opens a whole can of worms for all kinds of things, including tax evasion and things like that. This is why the imposter will never return to the UK. In the UK, our courts take these things seriously. I'm stronger than some people might assume. I wouldn't contemplate anything reckless as a result of false allegations. I would hold a placard, falsely acclaimed, hashtag me too, falsely alleged. So with that in mind, I'm going to play the video from Sargon of Akkad. Enjoy. It's not very long, and then we'll go and we'll have some fun with the angry Inspector Clouseau. That guy. Okay, here we go. I hope you're doing well in chat.
False allegations ruin lives. Now, looking at the thumbnail of this video, you probably thought that this lady had leveled some false allegations and ruined some lives. But no, she is in fact the victim of false allegations, indirectly made against her brother, and how they've destroyed her life. It's pretty rough, to be honest. Her mum and her brother had both committed suicide after he was falsely accused of rape. So her 17-year-old brother committed suicide after, quote, having the life sucked out of him by the allegation, which was withdrawn 2 weeks later. And a year later, her mother then killed herself, leaving this poor young lady to organise 2 funerals for mother and her brother over some girl's false allegation. Isn't that just awful? So, I mean, just 3 lives ruined, an entire family ruined on the strength of one false allegation of rape that was withdrawn. It's really heartbreaking. It's really, really heartbreaking. Obviously, this drove her to the brink of suicide as well. And she confesses that the only thing that stopped her was knowing that a third death would destroy her gran, Anne, 79. I mean, how many people are going to end up dying from this one false allegation? So it's pretty fucking awful. And she's the one who found her mum's body. When I saw my mum's body, I sank to the floor screaming and crying, asking why this happened to me. It just seemed so unfair. At nights, I'd lie in bed and cry because I felt so alone. I'd already struggled with thoughts of suicide myself after Jay died. When Mum went, those feelings surfaced again. Unsurprisingly. She claims that the girl who accused Jay met him before his death and tearfully admitted someone had put pressure on her to make the false sex abuse claim. I don't give a shit. If you fall to this kind of stuff, then you deserve the punishment that is coming to you. And thank God, the one thing that British law does correctly is punish those who bear false witness. It is the one thing they do.
Pay attention.
But anyway, if one allegation falsely leveled of rape can destroy the lives of 3-4 people, an entire family, imagine what an allegation over 12 different men would do. A woman in Cyprus claimed 12 Israeli men had gang raped her. A British woman on holiday in Cyprus, staying at Ayia Napa Beach Resort, claimed that she'd been gang raped by 12, 16 to 18-year-old Israeli men. These men were promptly arrested, obviously, because, my God, what a horrific crime. What an absolutely terrible thing to have happened. 3 of the men allegedly raped the British tourist while others filmed the attack on their mobile phones, local media reports said. Turns out that it was probably bollocks, as the Israelis have been let go because this woman has been arrested because it seems that she's making a false complaint. All 7 Israelis who were arrested have been released. The young woman will be taken to court tomorrow, which would be today at some point. Earlier, a source said the teenager had been arrested on charges of giving a false statement over an imaginary offence. Her story had changed in the process of it, and one of the teenagers could prove that he definitely wasn't where she was claiming he was at the time that she was making the allegation. What had happened is that she had been promiscuous on holiday. I mean, they were calling her a whore, and that appears to be the reason that she filed the reports. She felt angry and insulted when some of the Israelis recorded video of her having sex with a number of them. The woman is facing a public nuisance charge in Cyprus for making a false claim. Well, don't go and be a whore if you don't want to feel angry and insulted when this sort of thing happens. You are responsible for what you do with your body. You cannot simply say that they gang raped you because you were acting in a way that you found shameful. I can't even get over how awful that is. Like, you were there consensually, and they recorded it, and you were like, oh, now that's too far. Now you're all rapists. No, you are just a thought. You do not get to just simply make false claims. And I tell you what, right? If Cypriot law is anything like British law, then this will be considered to be a really, really bad thing that she has done. And like this woman from Swindon, she'll be jailed. Or this woman from Edinburgh, who's jailed over false rape allegations. Or, amazingly, jail for false claims of homophobia, at least potentially. Jamie Shand from Norwich has been found to not have had homophobic behaviour acted towards him. This appears to have been false allegations. In fact, the judge said, you intended to provoke a negative response from each individual. You manufactured and manipulated, in each case, a reaction from your victims. We believe you intended to cause your victims anxiety or distress, particularly with regard to their employment. So he was weaponizing social justice warrior outrage at homophobic slurs and attacks in order to get them fired, in order to hurt them personally. And now he is facing jail time because of his false allegations. It is awful to bear false allegations against someone. Not only does it destroy lives, but it destroys the lives of innocent people, and not just of the direct victim, but those people around him. The fact that this is done in such a cavalier manner by some women because they're offended or they feel humiliated because they've done something they regret or because they're SJW.
Because they've been exposed for being a covert narcissist, you know, something like that.
And they're looking to get one over on other people who they feel aren't respecting their fucking pronouns or whatever it is a disgrace. And I'm very, very glad to see that these people actually receive jail.
Now, oops, wait, pause. Ugh. How do I, mute. Sorry, I have this set to autoplay. So I'm going to go back to that. This guy is brilliant. Okay, I like him. If you go to his channel and you go down here, you'll see the links to all of those articles about people and false claims of rape and whatnot. So this is why the imposter, we all know who I'm referring to, cannot return to the UK in the same guise as it had when it was in the flat earth. That's right. Now we're going to have some fun with with this guy, the angry Inspector Clouseau. I hope you're all having fun in the chat, and I want to say thank you very much to the person who shared this with me yesterday. Unfortunately, I spent a while trying to find the link in the chat to see the name. If you're in the chat today, please let me know, because I'd like to at least tell people who it was. So if you have a channel yourself, and they can go to your channel. So this, just brilliant. We'll look into this. But first, let's listen to this guy.
You're a retarded man.
Now this will be a great time for him to say, however, on mine,
I don't do in maps. You see one video of me saying I have a map? No, I debunk maps.
Wait. So he doesn't draw maps. He doesn't make maps. He criticizes maps. Isn't that like somebody who can't cook criticizing somebody who can? Or say a baker who bakes, and along comes someone who can't bake and says, shouldn't do it like that. Just choose your profession, your vocation, whatever, and imagine somebody who doesn't engage in that, who comes over and says, "Hey, doing that wrong." My God, the levels of just, I can't even find a term for it. Like, does hypocrisy apply? I don't. Kind of, it does, but it's like, what would be the correct adjective for someone like that? Just, Anyway, let's carry on.
But it doesn't. Oh, look, objective. So you'll push start.
We're not going to listen to all of it, by the way. But this is funny. He plays this bit of Inspector Clouseau, which is very funny.
Inspector Clouseau.
Aaron in the Paradin. The Paradin political view.
So, how do you explain? By the way, his place is about 5,000 miles.
I'm waiting for him to go,
Give or take, but never mind.
Let's go here.
Let's see, let's orient ourselves like this, and let's say that here's all of this is nighttime. All here in Portugal, on the beach here, the field that you're in.
There are some doozies, by the way. There's some stuff that's just, I think the right word is retard as the insult. I think that's the right word.
Beyond that, it's nighttime. Like, but now. You're just sucking that from your thumb. So radio telescopes.
Huh? Wait, let me go back a bit.
How do you know all that? Stars that have a different frequency radiation, which is what the astronomers look at with their radio telescopes. How do you know all that?
Yeah. You pick things up in life. You know, somebody might know how to carve wood into various different shapes. If somebody comes along and says, how do you know all that about this, all this carve? It's just something the guy's kind of picked up, you know, and then he's worked with. That kind. How do you know all that? How do you know that astronomers in the world, in the real world, not in a dreamland, in the real world, that astronomers use radio telescopes? Well, because astronomers use radio telescopes. That's how I know that. Like, sometimes I wish I was a Simon Dan debunking clown shoes like this guy.
You're just sucking that from your thumb.
From my what? My tip? I really don't know what he said then.
The radio telescopes. Radio telescopes.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh.
it's looking like he really thinks that radio telescopes don't exist. They must all be a hoax.
Hey, sir. Oh, look, stormy ionosphere. Taking with a radio telescope on one of your satelloons.
Hmm.
Wow. This is how the data looks like after it's been edited.
Uh-huh.
Because the data comes in as lines and numbers, you know, like radio signals. Oh, here, look, the Orion Nebula. Here we have some data. Interesting.
Okay, it looks like it's acknowledging that they might get some data. Now, could some of that data be fabricated? Absolutely, yes. Could all of it be fabricated? I doubt it. I doubt all of it is.
Oh, look, the data comes in like this. Here's some more data. That is fucking nice. Galactic background. Oh, here, look. This is the data.
Uh-huh.
And can be translated into this. It's amazing. Oh, here, look, more data from radio astronomy.
I don't know what he thinks that radiation data might look like. You know, when there are frequencies you can't see, but you create instruments that can detect those frequencies. And I don't know how he thinks that it should be seen. Should it just black, just a black screen? There you go. That's the data. Anyway, let's carry on.
Oh, look, radio astronomy for beginners. Amazing.
Ooh.
How this all comes together. Sunburst, everything. Supernovas. Oh, look, background radiation.
Hey, there's something that anyone at home with an old type radio can check. You can check and go between the stations and hear that white noise. Yeah, that white noise. That's a real thing. But no, according to QMFI, it should be just clear, or I don't know what it should be, because he's not very clear about how things should be. He's clear about how things definitely can't be, however it is that they are. I'm sorry, I mean,
yeah,
Hey.
multi-wavelength, Milky Way. This is fucking amazing. Oh, fucking nice.
By the way, you know this is the first time he's ever actually done any research like that, ever.
I hear more data. Here. They'll translate this in a colorful pictures. Oh, more data here. You can buy a tiny receiver and be a radio astronomer. And then institute like NASA sends signals to all those receivers and people.
Wow, really? Is that what it is? NASA sends the signals. Okay.
Think they receive cosmic radiation and all shit like that.
Ah, so radiation, it's not even a real thing, according to QMFI. Looks like it's not even a real thing.
Maybe you buy one, Antonio, from
Nope.
your donation shit.
No thanks.
Oh, gamma ray burst. It's amazing.
This is like watching a dog looking at a card trick.
Yeah, solar and planetary radio astronomy for schools.
Uh-huh.
Jove. Ah, here. I can get in the telescope kit. Receiver kit.
Okay, let's jump ahead. So,
And then
more
I have
fun.
to use some software.
See.
The colors of astronomical images.
Uh-huh.
Ching chong.
Oh,
Oh, look. Distorted radio images. Corrected radio images. Here you see you can edit it how you like.
uh-huh. What can you edit? The information? Like the data? Oh, okay. Let's continue. Because it does go into some absolutely amazing things.
Form it how you like. You know, there's nice pinky colors. You will love it.
This guy has a wife. Poor woman.
See? This
See?
is awesome stuff to play with, man.
Ooh.
I wish you good luck. Oh, here. Alrighty. This is some data.
No.
Amazing. Oh, look. This is a burst. This is just a line here.
This is just a line there. This is just a line there. Well, this is just a line here too. You see, this is a heart monitor. And what it does is it takes the electrical impulse of the heart firing and translates it through an oscilloscope into this screen. Takes information and translates it, makes it into a visual, deek, and into an audible, deek. Listen. So, let's listen to QMFI looking at data, not understanding what it is, and say, hey, it's just a line.
Oh, look. This is a burst. This is just a line here.
It's just a line here. Just like, oh my God, dude, just get that guy away from electrical sockets, away from matches. Just make sure to, have you got a big field you can run around in?
Wow, this is a high peak. Oh my God.
It really is. It's like looking at a dog looking at a card trick. And then he goes into this and lies. So there are two kinds of people. Well, there are three kinds of people I really don't like in the world. But the third is just an inconvenience. The other two, it's like I put effort. The dislike causes me to invest effort. Okay. The type that's an inconvenience are rude people. They're just like, ugh. Okay. But the other two type are bullies and liars. So these two types. So we're going to hear this clown shoe say that I lied. I don't lie. What I said was, where there's white is where there's no information. And I'm going to show that this is the case. But he says, no, it isn't. It's because it hasn't finished rendering. It's like, no, you're wrong and you're stupid.
Is the map. The white areas are areas without data. Okay, so when there's no data, you get those white areas. So
No, that's because it takes a while to load the image. It's
no, it isn't. I'm going to prove you wrong, you freaking clown shoe.
animated picture, idiot.
I'm gonna go.
Right, so let's have a look, see? Now here, by the way, first, there's the burst here that he's neglected to talk about at all, because according to him, is not real, none of it. Look over here on the left. I'm circling it with my cursor. You see a patch of white. That's where they don't have data. And here's a patch of white. There are several areas with white where they don't have data for that region. Okay, if you look into the Mimic, they explain. Now, if you go back, that just chose that day. I'm going to go, that was the 11th. I'm going to go to the 10th. Oh dear, look, it looks like the whole screen, the whole of the mapping, it just spontaneously bumped there. You didn't have to render, you lying piece of shit. Okay. Look, there's a white piece too. And you get to some where there's a bigger patches. In fact, you get to some where the patches scroll around. Okay. Now, let's close that. Lovely little burst here that he can't figure out. But let's close that and go back to here. What they've done with their website, because that's the opening page. That's on their homepage. They're doing this to help people understand how the whole thing works. It's not just live footage translated into different colors. Maybe in the hope of explaining to people how the data is collated and so on and so forth. And they do go on to explain it. If you go into it, you see that that's the case. So they show this to make people question, to go, huh? But no, listen to the clown show again.
Without data.
Listen.
Okay. So when there's no data, you get those white areas. So
No, that's because it takes a while to load the image. It's an animated picture, idiot.
No, I just showed you're wrong and you're lying and you're talking out of your ass as if you knew what you were talking about. You're a stupid person.
I'm going to go to recent. I'm going to scroll down and just hit one at random. So this one is the 30th of September 2014.
There you go. In that actual video, didn't have to render anything. You freaking Looney Tunes. What's wrong with you, Inspector Clouseau? What is wrong with your brain? What happened? I mean, you did this live. You could have said, oh, actually, no, it looks like, no. Okay, never mind that. I made a mistake. Ah, Mr. Narcissist. But narcissists can't do that, can they?
It takes a while to render, and then we'll take a look. And what you have to do is just have a bit of patience. It replays a couple of days, and sooner or later, you'll see oh, there you go. That's what you just saw. Watch again, because it will replay it. That looks like the end of the burst to me.
So you're claiming this kind of footage is taken by Satelloons?
Yes, and claiming there are Satelloons that collect data and that study the atmosphere. Are you claiming that there are no Satelloons that collect data and study the atmosphere? Because I have a surprise for you if that's what you're claiming. But never mind. Let's continue. Let's jump ahead.
You use too much because they not seems to move much.
Huh?
conscription.
Here he's gonna do this crazy broken brain thing of taking a portion of a line and then running with it as if it's the entirety of the meaning is contained in the first few words that he's read. Watch.
Mimic TPW uses retrieved data on an algorithm made in 1990. That's strange. How can you use
which derives these values from a linear function of 19, 22, and 37 gigahertz brightness, temperature, and so on. It's an algorithm. What's an algorithm? A process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. You're going to hear him now say, hey, how can they be using something that developed in 1990? It's like, oh my God. You know, some of the programming languages were developed before 1990. You freaking half-wit.
Algorithm with your global warming and extreme weather? How can you use the same algorithm for 30 years?
How can you use the same algorithm for 30 years? Calculators, handheld calculators, have algorithms. And they've been around, well, for longer than 30 years, haven't they? You very stupid person.
Okay, let's see here. We currently use real-time data from the SSM-1 sensor on the DMS P13-14 satellites and the AMSRE sensor on the Aqua satellite. Other options are not employed at this time. So,
He actually avoided reading the part that tells you what kind of data they're using, you know, like the 1922 and 37 gigahertz. You just like, oh, forget that, because that's, say, kind of microwave radiation. That doesn't exist.
3 balloons, 3 satellites.
3 balloons. Oh, God. What a clown shoe. Okay, let's move on. 3 balloons.
With what kind of camera they took this?
What kind of a camera they took this with? Well, with a camera that takes pictures. That's what with. He must have seen the footage of NASA launching balloons and the ESA and universities launching weather balloons. They've been doing it since the 1930s. But no, all of it not real.
And this one cannot have cameras upwards, otherwise it looks to this.
Why would it have a camera upward, you clown shoe? Anyway, let's go. Oh, now here's a balloon. He was just saying, and they're not even real. And now he has footage showing, well, they are real. He's not going to say, oh, sorry. I said they weren't even real. But they are. I was wrong. It's like every single video is like, here's something, and here's something proving that what he just said was wrong. And then he goes into something else, and then shows something else that shows up what he was just showing is wrong. Jeez.
Who are filming this?
This looks like CGI to me. It looks like CGI to me. Does it mean all of it was CGI? Or just the part where they started using CGI? Do you understand anything about video editing at all? Jeez. Oh, this apparently is one of the satellites that balloons that did those crazy spaghetti shapes. You know, on that ultra cool tracking that tracked that tracked the flight that went around the Earth, but it didn't really. Yeah, that, and then it just removes that. Forget that with the one. Never mind that. Yeah, the spaghetti things. Oh yeah, it's these satellites. Like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
For weeks and months.
Oh, okay, let's move on. Let's see.
Oh, look, they want to save it. You know, this is precious equipment.
Okay, so it was just saying that it wasn't even real because it was CGI. Now it's like, oh, so they want to save it. You can't save something if it's CGI. Silly.
Oh, look, they want to save it. You know, this is precious equipment.
Maybe they also wanted to not kill people. You know, ever thought of that? If something like this falls on your car, it might kind of cause a little bit of an accident. It might fall on your campfire, might fall straight on your head. Who knows? Maybe there's things like that factored in.
Amazing.
Let's move on. Oh, back to this. Let's see what he's saying about this.
Everywhere. As a truther.
Wait,
Reading.
let's go back to here. Okay, here we go.
That's not a very big area it covers. To get a
That's not a very big area it covers. It kind of is a very big area it covers. That's not the area it covers, that's the area it flies. It's collecting data from miles, hundreds and hundreds of miles. Not just capturing the air around it.
It was a 16-day flight.
This is not a big area. Like, oh, really? How about you run it in a marathon?
And it covered only like 1,000 kilometers or so. 600 miles from here to here.
Wow.
That's not a very big area it covers.
600 miles. Huh?
To get a clear reading, you need balloons
It was from around here on this map. From around here to around here. That's not a small area, QMV.
everywhere. As a truther, you cannot use data like this. And I show you why.
Oh,
Don't
let's
use
see.
mainstream media and
Because it might show a hailstorms when somebody said, what crazy freaky weather? And then mainstream media shows you hailstorms that says, the guy who said, what a crazy freaky weather is full of shit. Don't use mainstream media. No, if the mainstream media tells you it's raining, and it's raining, just coincidence.
mainstream science.
And don't use mainstream science. Don't use mainstream science, including mathematics. Don't use electricity. Just don't use anything. Jesus Christ.
So this mission took 16 days. It started here. And the altitude was between 50 and 75,000 feet.
Uh-huh.
Here we have the day at the launch. The wind speeds above this area. 3,000 meters. is getting harder and harder. So this balloon should flow to the east. $4,200 meters. The wind is getting harder. 35 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. Let's go up a little bit more. Let's go to 9,000 meters. Whoa! 99 miles an hour. That's pretty windy.
If there's a glider there facing east, I wonder how fast it would go.
Let's go to 12,000 meters. That's about 40,000 feet. 100 miles an hour. That's strong winds. It should flow in this direction. You know, balloons are sensitive for wind. Let's go up 30,000 meters. That's like 100,000 feet.
You weren't expecting that, were you? You stupid clown shoe who doesn't look at things. But bearing in mind that this is him using data that's mainstream on the back of saying you should not use mainstream data. It's like, God, what? The levels of wrong in your brain are just unsurpassable.
Oh, after it reaches this high altitude, it goes from east to west again.
Let's jump ahead.
Then,
I want to get to the next
stay,
bit. I don't want to be on for hours. I want to get to the next bit.
What you think when a balloon, a huge balloon that works as a sail?
This isn't even real. That's probably an actor. That's not even real, is it? Can you prove it's real? That's the kind of shit that this guy says. If I was showing this footage to make a point, he'd say, hey, don't even know, it could be a studio.
This is this wind.
There
Maybe
he is.
shred apart.
Yeah,
World Fuel Enterprises.
Yes, dodgy organization
Founder.
in many ways. Let's go ahead.
The co-founder of this.
Oh, I didn't watch all of this, by the way.
So those
wait.
transactions.
Yee, the heck.
What the shit? So those transsexuals doing our science, and they were in space.
Yes, I know this is just charlatanism. Let's go ahead. Oh, let's go back to the mimic.
Satellites. So better don't use mainstream bullshit.
So, wow. Everything is just anything that can be associated with anything else, that can be associated with anything else, that could be associated with mainstream, all of it, you can scrap it all.
I don't know how it's made.
Read, it tells you, they tell you how it's made. Anyway, I'm going to move ahead. No, it's just going through some nonsense. Okay. QFE, you're a moron. You're a moron, dude. Okay, let's close that. I hope you understand now what an algorithm is. And once you've developed an algorithm, you can use it forever if you want. For as long as there's something for the algorithm to work with. You don't have a shelf life. Now, this is a heart monitor. See that line? It actually represents a real thing in the real world. See, listen. You might have seen this on TV or in a hospital. That would be sad. But anyway, let's close that. Now we're going to go to this. NASA budget estimates for 2019. So this is the President's budget request summary, which says to me either this is just a standard form, or the President, which is Donald Trump, said, give me a budget. Like, I want to see your budget, you know, which would be his request. Okay, so this for the President. Operating plan, this thing is like things that are in operation, I suppose. These things possible maybe 2018, and this is for 2019. Now, this is in millions of dollars. So this is $3,669 million. Okay, that would be for, let me make it larger for people sat at home with their feet up, exploration systems development. Okay, advanced exploration systems. Okay, exploration, research and development. Wonderful. Exploration, research and technology. Ooh, look, 1,002 million. LEO and spacecraft operation, 4,624 million. International space, but let's get further down where it starts getting really, really interesting. Earth science, planetary science, astrophysics, heliophysics. Like astrophysics, what's all this huge 1,188 million for astrophysicists? What are they doing? They're just thinking. That's all they're doing. But anyway, let's continue. Aeronautics education, don't know about that. Safety, security, and missions services, rather large chunk. Okay, center management and operations, agency management and operations, construction of facilities, environmental compliance and restoration. Very good. Let's go further down because it just starts getting really interesting. Orion program, all these things, only 10 million for the Orion program. Okay, let's keep going. Just lots of things, and then it starts getting more interesting. So thank you for passing me this, by the way, passing this in the chat. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Let's keep going. Oh, by the way, I will paste this right now in the chat. Give me a second. And then you guys can take a look. See. Give me a sec. It's just comedy gold. Right, give me a second. You will see this in the chat momentarily. I hope I'm still screen sharing. Let me just check. Yes, I am. Good. There you go, in the chat. Remember, this is the budget estimates. Okay, so this is subject to Trump saying, what is this? And them saying, well, it's these things. And him saying, I think we can do that cheaper. Bring me a different budget. So they go away and they'll half it. You know, here you are. Okay, so tell me again, what is this for? You're going to see. Let's keep going. Other missions and data analysis. We're going to look for that. So Pathfinder, venture class missions, 167 million, and other missions and data analysis of those other missions. All right, okay. And here's some more research, other missions and data analysis. Okay, I don't think this is going to fly. Other missions and data analysis, and lunar discovery and exploration is all of it. Other missions and data analysis. 218 million. Okay. Insight, Lucy. So discovery. Oh, very good. Insight, good. And Lucy, and Psych or Psyche, and other missions and data analysis. Then New Frontiers Mars exploration, Mars Rover 2020, 348 million. And other missions and data analysis. Okay, and then outer planets and ocean worlds. Europa Clipper. Okay. And other missions and data analysis. Wait a second. Here it says astrophysics research and analysis. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that and analysis meant data analysis. Astrophysicists using data. Come on. That's physics. That's real physics, not astrophysics. Anyway, let's see if we can find some more. Budget authority. That's interesting. So you're charging $92 million for the budget authority to develop this budget, or is it also other missions and data analysis? Wait, cosmic origins. Oh, lots of things, and other missions and data analysis. Then physics of the cosmos, exoplanet exploration. Oh, that could be other pond, could be, and astrophysics explorer. Doesn't sound even real. Not really. It's like a metaphysics explorer. Transiting exoplanet survey satellite. TESS? Don't think so. And other missions and data analysis. 218. Okay, million. Heliophysics research. Ooh. And then other missions and data analysis. And other missions and data analysis. Which is a different figure, by the way. It's not like, you know, altogether this much, this much, and data and 78 million altogether. Like, no. It's like other missions and data analysis in the field of living with a star. Right? So, what program are you working on, Sarah? I'm working on the Living with a Star program. Oh, what does that mean? It means I'll be living with Jethro Tull. Oh, really? I thought that was a band. What? Are you sure it's not a person? I don't know. I meant living with John Travolta. Living with a Star as a budget request, part of which is other missions and data analysis. So that would be living with a star, whatever entails that nonsense, and other, not living with a star, other missions. You know, like living with a star is a mission, and we have other missions, and we'll have data analysis from those missions too. 78 million for that, please, sir. Then solar terrestrial probes. Simply other missions and data analysis. Heliophysics Explorer program, other missions and data analysis. In other words, not telling you unless you call us in and make us tell us, in which case we'll make stuff up on the spot. And then if you ask for proof that those things exist, we'll tell you, we'll get them to you next month. And then the writers will get down and write them. I mean, sorry. Right, so what's this? Agency management, safety, and mission success. Okay, so agent management is not all one. I thought it was, but it isn't. It's just agency management. Okay, 359 million. Okay, and then safety, like important, yes, and mission success. So, wait a second. Safety is like an important thing. What are you doing lumping in mission success with it? Like, can we not have safety as its own standalone thing? You know, so we can make sure that people are safe. You know, the fingers aren't being chopped off or, you know, explosions and stuff. But safety and mission success, safety and mission assurance. Ooh, let me assure you, it's going to be fine. Chief engineer, 83 million. Chief engineer, 83 million. Chief health and medical officer, 4 million. They only get 4 million. Independent verification and validation, 38 million. Is it really independent? I don't think so. And let's see. Oh, that's the end. Oh, I was having fun. Jeez Louise. So here's President Trump, and he gets this, and there's somebody in the White House who's in with NASA, and he's like, "We got it. Yeah, it's all fine, sir. Yeah. Let me have a look at the figures." You don't need to, sir. It's fine. Like, get me the figures. Oh God, I'm gonna get. I'm gonna have to go in the budget request. Just give it to him. Okay. Here you go, sir. Okay. Hold on a second. What's this? Other missions and data analysis. I see this all over the place. What? Tell them to send in another one, stipulating what those other missions are. Because we had Bolden in here some time ago, and he was just talking complete nonsense. So I'm going to find that. Hey, that's brilliant, by the way. Thank you. I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to find Bolden lying to Congress. That's right, the ex-head. I think it's the ex-head. Lying. I featured this in one of my very first YouTube videos, by the way. Where is he? No, it's not Bolden. None of those guys is him. NASA. Never mind. Right there. NASA. Here he is. This guy. Charles Bolden. Just lying. Was it Congress or representatives? The heck is this clown shoe doing there? Anyway, I want to find it here. What the heck is this? Alan Grayson, who was brilliant, is NASA becoming a faith-based initiative? So let's play this one.
Thank you.
Grayson, by the way, was absolutely brilliant. He was just, well, you'll see. Let me see if I can get a clearer image. Wow, why are they always such poor quality?
What is our next destination for America in space?
The next destination for America in space, and I'm not being trite when I...
You just start answering the question. You can just say, we're going to be... No, instead, the next... Let me repeat the entirety of your question and waffle a little bit and then not really answer. But pay attention, I'm going to play it again. Jeez.
Thank you. What is our next destination for America in space?
The next destination for America in space, and I'm not being trite when I answer this, is the International Space Station. We've got to get there 4 more times this year. The long-term destination, after we successfully close out the space shuttle program, the ultimate destination is Mars. And there are intermediate points.
The ultimate destination is Mars. Like, in the globe thinking, it's like, what about other planets? That's it. That's the ultimate destination. How do you know? You might go to Mars and get find a little recording there, engraved in stone or something. You put in your hand, holding the Star Trek hand thing, and go, oh, and the thing plays and says, hey guys, glad you made it. We're over in this other planet. The ultimate destination is Mars. Oh, you mean that blinking light in the sky? Yes, we're going to go there.
We're going to have to get to before we are capable of going to Mars. If you gave me all the money in the federal budget today, I could not get a human to Mars.
That's right, you couldn't. Absolutely, you couldn't. I mean, not even if they gave you all of the gold and all of the money of all of the universe forever, you still wouldn't be able to get to Mars. Just like you can't get to the rainbow.
Not morally put a human in a spacecraft and launch them on an 8-month mission to Mars because I do not understand the radiation.
All right, so what is our next destination in space?
The next...
So, the head of NASA was starting, by the way, this guy's had a bit of the waffling, okay? He was starting to say, because I don't understand about the radiation. Listen.
Radiation.
All right, so what is our next destination?
in a spacecraft and launch them on an 8-month mission to Mars because I do not understand the radiation.
All right, so what is our next destination?
And he kind of snaps out of his, well, I was going to say a whole bunch of other stuff. Watch his head, little jerk. Watch the micro expression when Grayson starts speaking again.
8-month mission to Mars because I do not understand the radiation.
All right, so what is our next destination in space?
The next ultimate destination is
No,
Mars.
the next one.
Congressman, the next destination, as I said before, is the International Space Station. And
All
we've
right,
got
let's
to do that
not
one
be
more time.
trite then. What is the one after that?
It's Mars.
So there's nothing in between as far as you're concerned.
But there are intermediate stops.
What
on
are
the way
they?
there.
What's the next one?
The moon is a destination. Lagrange points are destinations.
Which one is next?
You mean where do we go immediately next? Is that the question?
That's what.
I'm going to play this all the way through again without interruption, by the way, because it's gold.
You mean where do we go immediately next? Is that the question?
That's what next
Incrementally?
means.
Congressman, we are in the process of developing a program. I will have to be able to give you the details, and I will come back and
See what I mean? Like other missions and data analysis. We'll get it for you later.
for the record in the coming months.
So why are we even talking about how to get to the next destination? We don't even know what that is.
Congressman, we do know what it is. We know what
What is it?
Congressman, we can go back and forth forever.
We seem to have to here. I'm looking for an answer.
Okay. The next destination in the Constellation program was the moon.
What
After
about
that, there
now,
was-
since you're planning to
Congressman,
eliminate
the
that?
program of record and the program to which we are working right now, because you have told me that I have to continue to work the Constellation program. We're talking about the 2011 budget, but if you ask me right now, the next destination is the moon.
Okay, good. Now, the Augustine report came up with 4 options and several sub-options or alternatives within the options. Which one did the administration adopt?
The administration adopted the recommendations of the Augustine report, which was
Which
flexible path.
option?
The flexible path.
The flexible path.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you
That
think
was
that,
the recommendation of the Augustine committee.
all right, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did read the report and it seems to me that the flexible path involved continuing the Constellation program. Is that a fair statement?
The Constellation, the Augustine committee did not recommend cancellation of the Constellation program.
So then I'm right.
You're right that they did not recommend cancellation of the Constellation program.
This is a narcissist, this guy. Notice the word saladin that he's doing.
The flexible path included continuation of the Constellation program.
The flexible path did not necessarily include. I think you're cherry picking from the report. The report said.
I just want to know why you had all these people come together, the people who knew the most about the space program, and then you ignored their recommendation to continue the Constellation program. That's
Congressman,
what I'm asking.
they did not recommend continuation of the Constellation program. What
The
they
flexible path did.
said, Congressman, what the report said was that they find no technical challenges in the Constellation program that cannot be met the way that NASA has always met them. However, to do so will cost a significant amount more than anyone will reasonably be able to place in a budget.
All right, regarding the budget, it seems to be your plan to put people in space through commercial programs. Is that correct?
I intend to put people into low Earth orbit through commercial programs.
How often has that happened so far?
We do it today.
Explain to me. Go ahead.
Well, today I go out and I pay USA to operate the space shuttle out of the Kennedy Space Center. The vast majority of my workforce right now is, as Congresswoman Edwards mentioned, 89% of the workforce in the shuttle program today are contractors.
So you consider the space shuttle program to be a commercial program?
I consider the space shuttle program to be evidence that commercial entities can successfully
Just
operate.
Please answer the question. My time is limited.
Yes.
Okay. So what's wrong with continuing it then?
We would not. I do not think it would be wise to continue the space shuttle program beyond the 4 additional flights that we're on track to fly right now. I think that would not be prudent.
But if one's commercial and the other's commercial, what's the advantage of switching?
The advantage is that we relieve ourselves of the responsibility and the cost for operating and maintaining infrastructure as we do today with the space shuttle program.
Isn't it true that commercial entities have never put a man in orbit?
Commercial entities have put every human in orbit that the United States has flown. If and you can take that up with North American Rockwell or Boeing or the United Space Alliance.
Honestly, I'll tell you, my time is up now, so I'm going to tell you this briefly. I think that what you're doing is taking a shot in the dark. You have no way of knowing if any commercial entity will ever be able to put a man in orbit, no matter how much money you throw at them. What you're doing is you're taking NASA's manned space program and making it a faith-based initiative. I yield the rest of my time.
Bong! Oops, sorry, I hit that by mistake. Oh, it's him. So do I play it all? Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I said I would, so I will. I'm gonna play it all without interruption. Notice the double speak. It's just fantastic.
What is our next destination for America in space?
The next destination for America in space, and I'm not being trite when I answer this, is the International Space Station. We've got to get there 4 more times this year. The long-term destination, after we successfully close out the space shuttle program, the ultimate destination is Mars. And there are intermediate points that we're going to have to get to before we are capable of going to Mars. If you gave me all the money in the federal budget today, I could not get a human to Mars. I could not morally put a human in a spacecraft and launch them on an 8-month mission to Mars because I do not understand the radiation.
All right, so what is our next destination in space?
The next ultimate destination is
Mars. The next one.
Congressman, the next destination, as I said before, is the International Space Station. And
we've
got to do that
not
4 more
be
times.
trite then. What is the one after that?
It's Mars.
So there's nothing in between as far as you're concerned.
But there are intermediate stops.
What are
on the way
they?
there.
What's the next one?
The moon is a destination. Lagrange points are destinations.
Which one is next?
You mean where do we go immediately next? Is that the question?
That's what next means.
Congressman, we are in the process of developing a program. I will have to be able to give you the details, and I will come back and make it for the record in the coming months.
So why are we even talking about how to get to the next destination? We don't even know what that is.
Congressman, we do know what it is. We know what
is it?
Congressman, we can go back and forth forever.
We seem to have to here. I'm looking for an answer.
Okay. The next destination in the Constellation program was the moon.
What about now, since you're planning to eliminate
the program of record and the program to which we are working right now, because you have told me that I have to continue to work the Constellation program. We're talking about the 2011 budget, but if you ask me right now, the next destination is the moon.
Okay, good. Now, the Augustine report came up with 4 options and several sub-options or alternatives within the options. Which one did the administration adopt?
The administration adopted the recommendations of the Augustine report, which
option?
The flexible path.
The flexible path.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you
that
think
was the recommendation of the Augustine committee.
All right, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did read the report, and it seems to me that the flexible path involved continuing the Constellation program. Is that a fair statement?
The Constellation, the Augustine committee did not recommend cancellation of the Constellation program.
So then I'm right.
You're right that they did not recommend cancellation of the Constellation program?
The flexible path included continuation of the Constellation program.
The flexible path did not necessarily include. I think you're cherry picking from the report. The report said.
I just want to know why you had all these people come together, the people who knew the most about the space program, and then you ignored their recommendation to continue the Constellation program. That's what I'm asking.
They did not recommend continuation of the Constellation program. What
the flexible path did.
Congressman, what the report said was that they find no technical challenges in the Constellation program that cannot be met the way that NASA has always met them. However, to do so will cost a significant amount more than anyone will reasonably be able to place in a budget.
All right, regarding the budget, it seems to be your plan to put people in space through commercial programs. Is that correct?
I intend to put people into low Earth orbit through commercial programs.
How often has that happened so far?
we do it today.
Explain to me. Go ahead.
Well, today I go out and I pay USA to operate the space shuttle out of the Kennedy Space Center. The vast majority of my workforce right now is, as Congresswoman Edwards mentioned, 89% of the workforce in the shuttle program today are contractors.
So you consider the space shuttle program to be a commercial program?
I consider the space shuttle program to be evidence that commercial entities can successfully
Just
operate.
Please answer the question. My time is limited.
Yes.
Okay. So what's wrong with continuing it then?
I do not think it would be wise to continue the space shuttle program beyond the 4 additional flights that we're on track to fly right now. I think that would not be prudent.
But if one's commercial and the other's commercial, what's the advantage of switching?
The advantage is that we relieve ourselves of the responsibility and the cost for operating and maintaining infrastructure as we do today with the space shuttle program.
Isn't it true that commercial entities have never put a man in orbit?
Commercial entities have put every human in orbit that the United States has flown. And you can take that up with North American Rockwell or Boeing or the United Space Alliance.
Honestly, I'll tell you, my time is up now, so I'm going to tell you this briefly. I think that what you're doing is taking a shot in the dark. You have no way of knowing if any commercial entity will ever be able to put a man in orbit, no matter how much money you throw at them. What you're doing is you're taking NASA's manned space program and making it a faith-based initiative. I yield the rest of my time.
Ms. Carls.
Absolutely brilliant. Now I'm going to see if I can find the part of it. Well, apart from that, where he's lying there. Let's see. Hey, where is it? So he was caught lying about flying first class, and later there's no, it was an upgrade. It's like, well, if it was an upgrade, why did he pay for it? You know. But let's see. Inquest. Would it be an inquest? Look at all this faff. This is how YouTube now works. It's like NASA Bolden inquest about flying first class. It's like, oh, just first class? Did we say first class? Like, yeah, also said NASA and Bolden. Duh. Well done. Let's see. How to bury a story. Here we are. Took a little while though, didn't it?
NASA's top leader.
I actually had this video. I think it was maybe my 3rd or 4th video on Flat Earth in 2015. It included this clip that I'm going to play now. Just to say, look, NASA really are liars. They lie. They actually lie. So here you are. Let's play this.
Ended off questions here on Capitol Hill today about his agency's many upgrades to business or even first class on air flights. But while Charles Bolden began the day by saying one thing under oath, by nightfall, the agency was already saying something else.
A recent Scripps News article documented what appears to be a massive overuse of premium air travel at NASA.
The chairman of a key House Appropriations subcommittee tried to get answers from NASA's top boss about millions of dollars of first and business class upgrades the space agency reported, including more than 500 upgrades costing from $3,000 to $10,000 apiece.
The government's paying for it?
Again and again.
I think it's inappropriate.
It's ridiculous.
Federal employees flying on the taxpayer dime must fly coach unless they can cite an exception to regulations. And NASA did just that for many of Bolden's upgrades, noting the trips lasted longer than 14 hours, which is the reason the agency says it allowed Bolden to upgrade to business class to fly from Beijing to Washington with another top executive, Michael O'Brien, paying more than $16,000 each. Combined, it's enough for 34 separate tickets at the going coach rate. But for months, NASA refused to provide any justification for 3 of Bolden's other upgrades.
Would you have your people just cooperate with the media?
I'm not responsible to the media. I am responsible to this committee and the American taxpayer.
But as for one of those unexplained upgrades, where NASA records show
the media is made up of people that are taxpayers. You stupid person.
Bolden flew first class to speak to students.
And you yourself using a first class ticket to travel from DC to Los Angeles at a cost of $1,600.
Mr. Chairman, I would be very happy to show anyone my travel records. This is a case of I'm not sure how they got or where they got the data. I don't travel first class.
But take a look at records NASA provided us, and you'll find that Washington to LA upgrade right here. After the hearing, Bolden wouldn't answer questions. Sir, your communications director next to you gave me this report, which has you flying for $1,600 from Washington to Los Angeles in first class. Now, can we trust anything that you're telling us or Congress, sir? And after all,
I don't fly first class, apart from when I fly first class.
that late tonight, NASA is doing an about face, admitting that Bolden did take that first class trip from Washington to LA after all.
And the
with
rest.
A spokesperson emailing to say that he made a, quote, inadvertent oversight during his testimony before Congress. Still no word back yet on our other unanswered questions. Mark Greenblatt.
Inadvertent oversight seems to be a euphemism for lie. An inadvertent oversight.
The Scripps National Bureau on Capitol Hill.
Thank you, sir. So, mainstream media, not all fake news. That's it. I'm going to close this. And what happens now? Oh, I come up. Okay. And I'm going to go into the chat, see how everybody's doing, and I'm going to wrap up in a minute. So that's NASA for you guys. Perfectly above board. Everything is great. Cables on satellites, astronauts dropping feathers and hammers. Oh. So when I said that the reason Globalians don't get it is that they're stupid, it really is. It's that they're stupid. Now, the religious people who get it because it confirms their faith, when they find that the truth actually does not, it actually doesn't just undermine their religion, especially the ones who believe the Bible is the literal word of God. The ones who think, oh no, it's just a way of living, they'll be fine. They're the ones that were fine when it was a globe. Now, when the truth comes out and it says, the sun wasn't made by God as a thing for you at all. It was it's just a necessary thing. It's a necessary state, just like God is, just like the thing that you refer to as God. That too, necessary state. Then the Owen Benjamins of the world will say, then it's not true. I don't believe that. That's what they'll say. I believe the Gleasons is right, and the sun makes circles. It's a ball in the sky, and if I point to it, and you're over there, and you point to it, we're pointing at the same place in sky. Like that ridiculous app, which, by the way, somebody else has tried to take credit for it. It's like, dude, you realize it's fucking wrong? Do you realize? Have you done like no thinking and looking and thinking and looking? Have you just thought, huh, interesting, must be true? Because the Gleasons is mainstream. It's BS. So the flat earthers pushing the Gleasons, guess what they are? BS. That's right. Every single one. BS. Thanks for showing all those whiners, Antonio. You're welcome, Danny Diesel. Yeah, just the whole thing, when there are people that say flat Earth, it's a psychological operation. It's like, not really, but there's a massive psychological operation within the flat Earth to keep it not quite true. Where people can go, but isn't that just a globe? But like flattened. Yeah, then I'm going to stick with the globe. But instead you go, no, no, no. The truth is your globe depends on circular trails in the south. Must, absolutely. And circular trails in the north. And the real world says, well, at least not in the south. Don't know about the north yet, but in the south, no, not really. So there you go. Oh, I'm looking in the chat. Oh, somebody, wait. I'm going to read something that was passed to me through email today. Trying to explain to the angry Inspector Clouseau. I'm going to read it to you. It's a really good way of putting, of describing what I've been referring to as the array or the field. You see, scientists, physicists, the guys who use the word field or describe the field, or discuss the field. They can't describe the field. It's one of the things. They can't describe the field, and they can't describe the shape of waves in the field. That's right. It's because they're not waves. They're filaments. All of the things they've described as waves aren't waves. They're filaments on an array. Now, just bear with me while I look for it. So some time ago, I'm thinking, hey, how do waves work? How do radio waves work? If they're waves, they can't just be waves. They can't be just waves, because there must be waves that are also higher, and if you looked at them, they also have a transverse element, so there must be kind of bubble shaped or something. I mean, what shape do they have? If you try to draw out waves, really, in the three-dimensional world, we have actual waves. If you try to draw them out, what would they look like? And it turns out you can't draw them out because they're not waves. If you want to draw them out as filaments, then you can draw them out. It's like, huh, that's interesting. Anyway, I'm looking for this comment that somebody sent to me. Also, light as a wave. It's like, okay, let's think of this. You can take in everything that you can take in right now. Everything that you can visually take in through your eyes are supposed to be waves. Well, there's a wave interface, and it's waves of the same frequencies with small modifications for colors. But when you cross colors over, you lose the colors because these are electrical waves, and RGB cancel out. You would just see white. So either you would just see white, or you would see completely non-coherently if there were waves, because all of the waves would be interfering with all of the other waves. But they don't. And that's because light isn't a wave. Light is in filaments. The amplitude, the size of those filaments are the same as the rods and cones in your eyes. That's why when you get animals that have much, much smaller cones, they see in infrared. Now, I'm going to read this thing here. Right. Here's the comment. By the way, so the guy who passed me this, he's trying to explain to QMFI that he doesn't understand. Okay. And in his explanation, but by the way, his comments deleted. Okay. Just completely deleted. In his explanation, he makes a really good analogy. So I'm going to read it out. Man, you clearly don't understand what is a field. Antonio clearly said that the sun is manifestation within the field. For example, you can have two Wi-Fi routers spread across the distance of 200 meters. And you are standing, sorry, I'm having to scroll left and right, near one of them, and your friend is standing nearby the other router. You both can touch your routers. It's so close. You take your mobile and want to connect to your router, and you will have 5 bars, and your mobile will say that connection is excellent. So that would be you and the sun and solar noon. Now try to connect to the other router and there is no connection, and your friend cannot connect to your router. In this case, the router would be the thing that's sending the waves, or the filaments, that's the point of convergence where the incident radiation creates the white that we see as the sun, which used to be yellow. That would be the router, and your phone would be your eyes. The other guy is closer to the other router, the other nexus point, so he gets that. So anyway, let me carry on. You take your mobile and want to connect to your friend cannot connect to your router either. Why? Because you are not in the field of the other router. The field is too weak. But you can clearly see your friend standing up waving at you, and you can see that he is holding his router. You can't connect to his router though. Now you get it? Or you will say that if you can see the physical object like Wi-Fi router, you can also be in the field of it. Antonio clearly said that sun is not physical object, but it's being manifested within the field. So, like the Wi-Fi router, you can see the object, but not always. If you see it, you will be in the field of it. So, I think that's an excellent analogy. So, when you think, hey, if they've got sun available in America, why don't we have sun available in Britain? It's like, because the field, the array, because it literally is an array. It used to be called the ether. This array with Subirats filaments, I'm calling it. They're Subirats filaments. They're not Airy beams. By the way, this is after I wrote my book, turns out that Airy posited something that was later confirmed, which is the bending of light, that you can bend light by creating nexus points of converging beams. And there's an incident radiation that causes a polarity, and you can cause the beam to bend. Okay, so bendy lasers, but it's not, you can't do it just with a laser. You can bend beams of light. They're called Airy beams. My description is a physical description, if you will. It's not really physical, but it's a more understandable description of the ether, because the ether was considered to be a nebulous thing. It's not a nebulous thing. It's like ultra thin spider webs everywhere, ultra thin, that go through us, just like radiation goes through us. The sun is the nexus point of a series of frequencies. That's what the sun is. When that series of frequencies reaches a point that where to you only have twilight, the sun thing is still manifesting itself for other people in lots of different directions. If you think of the sun as a rainbow, just do that. Think of the top of the rainbow as the sun. That's it. Imagine that the sun was a rainbow that scrolled across your skies every day. Then you get it, because it's like, hey, I'm in Ushuaia, I'm looking at sunsets, and I'm seeing just the end of the rainbow, and somebody in America is seeing just the end of the rainbow too, but they're not looking at the same place in space. That's like the sun. And in fact, the rainbow is the clue that helped me to see this. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. What's this? Oh, I read something. HS Darker. Strange that Owen Benjamin would talk to Geronis but blew off Dubai. And apparently David Rice was a go-between. Curious, absolutely curious. Yes. Hey, let's talk to Geronism, who has shown that he doesn't have the kind of scruples that would say, hey, that's not true. You, imposter, and Mark Sargent, you keep telling people you've never met. You did. Why do you keep telling people you never met? Publicly. Like that. That's not true. I don't know why they're saying that. Publicly. That's what a truth seeker does, or that's what an honest, sincere person with cojones does, regardless of the fallout. No. Owen Benjamin, go to that guy, you know, with a small hat go between that was outed as a 9/11 shill. Yeah, go to that guy instead of Eric Dubay or even Matt Powerland. Instead of those guys, no, go to that one. Go to the one that's going to show you the glaciers and the sun does this. So you can describe it to somebody else at some point, Owen Benjamin, and that person go, maybe not cough like that. South America looks awfully big in this. And you go, yeah, it's just it's just an extrapolation. It's like, well, why don't you depict it its actual size? Well, somebody has done that. Yeah, somebody has done that. And you'll then come to me, you freaking clown shoe. I was warning you all along about David Weiss. All along. Keep your eyes out for David Weiss, who was out there as a 9/11 shill. I love doing that laugh. It's so moronic. It is such a moron laugh. Anyway, yes, so there you go. Yeah, Love, Wisdom, Harmony. I know I trusted Dubay blindly. The reason I promoted his video is because of the framing. What? Oh, right, yes. He asks you to prove it for yourself. Ah, damn it, that scrolled up very fast. Not to believe, and I appreciate that. It's a challenge to become. Yes, so I tried to communicate with him to say, dude, pull the Hitler videos. Just pull them, like one attack at a time. You know, just one at a time. Wait till win the first battle, then win the second. You can't, you can't otherwise. It's The Art of War. Just read The Art of War. I'm sure he's read The Art of War already. In fact, he's a Wing Chun fighter. Okay, and Wing Chun fighters fight one at a time. They position themselves so they can sort that guy out. That's how they fight. I know, because I studied Wing Chun, just like Eric Dubay. Oh, yes, Supreme Architects, thank you. It was a Supreme Architect. I didn't say in case you didn't want mentioning. It was a Supreme Architect who gave that excellent analogy with a Wi-Fi router. He writes, I've also said that even if you can't see the sun, so if you can't receive the Wi-Fi from the other distant router, you can still hear FM radio, which is the night stars. It's a brilliant analogy. Dude, it's brilliant. By the way, are you the guy who wrote the, like a blurb to the Book of the Sun? Because I've been looking for it. If it was you, can you please like find it and send it back to me, please? Anyway, my email is just crazy. Let's see. Cherry Pie, have you ever been approached to be an agent or an imposter? No. How do you believe it works? I don't believe it works anyway. I can think of how it might work, and I can tell you how it might work, but it is just my thoughts. It will just be my thoughts. I was approached, however, to join Truth Frequency Radio. That's right. And I think that's how you end up being an agent, which is like this month we're going to, all of us are going to discuss this because it needs discussing. So everybody talks about this, whatever it is. And it's like, wait a second, are you my boss? You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, I said, no, thanks. I looked at it and thought, nah, no, thanks. Pride-journalism So Angel Fire, I provide Jerry Nissen with images showing his video of the solar eclipse showing the moon having the wrong proportions to the size of Earth. He never responded. So now I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you can't respond to everything. Sometimes you don't read, so you don't respond. But sometimes people will read and think, I'm not responding to that because it's singling out something that's a problem to them. Like, for instance, me highlighting the errors with that Gleason app. I mean, the frame that they had a shot of, so a snapshot of the Gleasons. In that actual snapshot, the details were wrong. In that actual snapshot that they had, it was like, this is wrong. This is supposed to be set for this place. At this place, at this time, this one isn't here. This one's over here. And I made a video of it. Gone. Anyway, Antonio. Oh, damn it. By the way, I'm not going to hang out forever, guys. But I will read a couple more comments. Did you see my comment where I said QMV called me a clever troll? No, I didn't. I didn't see that. Harmon. Angel Fire. No, we were having a debate. We're having a debate. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Here's somebody. Zenboy 2000. You can have a wrench too. You see, I'm not even asking you if you're a flat earther or anything. You say, Antonio, please provide a link to your most up-to-date map. Already done. See, I've called this infinitely superior. I did that because I couldn't think of something more arrogant. I mean, anyway, so what was your name again? Zenboy 2000. Under the video you're watching, you see a link to my Patreon. I posted all my maps in my Patreon, free. You don't have to donate. You don't have to make any payment. You don't have to become a patron. Nothing. You can just go there, click, and download. I'll show you. I'll show you right now. Yeah, so there are other people telling you as well. But I will show you. I was having a debate. You were having a debate with Jerry Nissen. Oh, okay. Huh. Right, so he did see. Yeah, then it's just like when I said to him, dude, why don't you tell people the truth? Then this is what's going to happen eventually. So now they're talking about getting a baby, okay? The whole getting a baby thing, him and Missa would be, let's see if we can rescue this. The worst possible idea. Something that's falling apart. Hey, let's have a baby. It's like, that's not a very good idea. Just look around you at people that ended up single parents and look at the... Anyway. Hey, what's this? 1 second. So, yeah, what's going to happen with Jerry Nissen and Missa is whether or not they have a baby, they'll go their separate ways. And she'll resent him for the rest of her life, and he will end up being very bitter and dying of cancer caused by his own bitterness. And it will be bitterness at himself. Hey, 1 second. That's what will happen, unfortunately. David Weiss, though, and I'm going to put this out there, somebody's holding something over David Weiss. Yeah. Right, I'm going to my Patreon. Go to my homepage. Hey, okay, where is it? Right here. Why everything's very weird right now on my Patreon. Right, let me screen share and then I will quit. This is for Zenboy 2000. And what you can do, I'll show you. I'll look into. I'll tell you what. I will screen share this way. Right, so this way you can see the actual download. So here's my Patreon. Okay, here's one map. You can download that if you want. Here's another map. Download that. Here's another one. You can download that. Here's another one. You can download that. This is an excellent photo, by the way, from one of the people who bought the Book of the Sun with their son there. Just genius photo, brilliant photo. If you go to that photo and you go underneath, you see this IMG. So you hit that, my system will start downloading. And I think there's another one, but I will have a look in a second. Okay, so that's this one. And I think there might be and here's another one. Okay, so hit this. Now I go here. There you go. These are the two files that I just downloaded. Okay, so in this one you have these two maps, which is just simple, easy map, and map with the Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, equator, Tropic of Capricorn, and an Antarctic Circle. Okay. You'll note they're not, the distance between them is not, you'll notice they're not circular. In fact, you might think, looks like a tree has been cut, because it looks a bit more natural than those ridiculously perfect circles of the Gleasons. I didn't do this because I wanted it to look more natural. I did this because I looked at the data and considered the world and considered how there are different things in different parts of the Earth. In this region, for instance, I'll show you in this. So now I'm looking at the one on the left. Let me go, keep going. Oh, okay, no, it's one of the ones that's on the screen, on the main page. Okay, I will show you in a minute. This region. This is June. If you take an area, take an area, if you're in the north, look at your area, look at how much sunlight you have. Count, these would be 15, each of these would be 1 hour. Okay, so take a point and start counting hours, and you'll find that that's describing either your hours of light, if you choose to show your hours of light, or your hours of night. That would be for June, and that's whether you're in the north or the south. These are the what you might call standard longitudes. These are the things that are portrayed on Google Earth as those curved linear straight lines, the silly longitudes, and in the Gleasons as straight lines. This is the shape they have. They didn't used to have this shape, but this is the shape they have. This is the actual arrangement of the continents. But because this has been happening here, where there used to be a longer period of time, and these are denoting sunrise or sunset. Okay, so dawn or dusk, entirely up to you whether you want to call it sunrise or sunset or dawn or dusk. Up to you. Don't worry too much about it. There used to be more hours between South Africa and Argentina or Chile. There used to be more hours. Now there are less hours. They can't say during the time when these continents are rotating under the sun, they rotate faster and then they somehow slow down for this period. They can't. What they can do is scrap old maps, scrap old globes, and move this continent closer to South America. But in the real world, this is showing hours of sun motion. That's why this is the actual arrangement of the continent, and this is the movement of the day. These are these longitudes. I've chosen the equinox period because that's when you have the most stable longitude setting for Earth. the period is not a day, it's a whole bunch of days. It's a whole series of days. If you bother checking with reality and you look at Canopy score, which is about here, and you look at when it's the equinox here, you see actually there are days of discrepancies between. That's because this place reaches the equinox before this place. Anyway, then you have the December solstice. You can do the same as I described above with this. Here you have magnetic declination for the lines that I drew, the latitudes I drew. I will be working. I started and I put it to the side because it's so tedious. I'm placing 10-degree latitudes, so separated with 10 degrees, and separating the longitudes to 5 degrees. So these will be separated into what are called on the globe, or what I expressed on the globe or the Gleasons, as 15 degrees increments. I will be splitting them into 5-degree increments, so I will have a lot more of these lines of magnetic declination. And what we'll see is, well, a very clear magnetic field. That's what we'll see. You can already see it here. Obviously, with the more latitudes or longitudes, the lines that I will have will be much shorter. They will only go from one latitude to the next, and then I'll pick up the next latitude and look at the declination there, and to the next, and so on. So this is the region of the magnetic anomaly, which is causing this pushing in that direction of the magnetic north. That's what's happening. It's going to end up around here. When it ends up around here under the Earth, the south magnetic pole, which is around here, will be under the Earth, closer to this in terms of a vertical axis, if you want to think of it that way, between the two, or vertical pole between the two. And we have no idea how far below the Earth the south is. At that point, either the whole thing will flip, or the sun will end, or the sun that's to the south of this region will have burst the magnetic field for our day and night, and the whole thing, our magnetic field or our day and night field and the other pond's day and night field, will combine and create a much larger pond. Now, I keep thinking that it's here to the south of the Atlantic. It could be over here. I doubt it very much. I doubt that it's over here. Anyway, the reason I doubt it is that we have a lot more attention paid to this ground area, like a lot more focus, like, oh, go there, look at that, look, everybody, la la, over here, and very little here. Now, these are mountain ranges, these are some of the major rivers, and this is quickly colored in pastels. Now, I'll close this, I'll close this, and these are, like I said, available free. And now I will go to that region, that here, this region. If I can zoom in, I don't know if I can zoom in. Oops, yes, I think I can. Let's see. Okay, where lines where insects and birds and other fauna will not cross. So there's a whole series of islands around here with creatures that will move all along this region, but will not cross these lines. These are in the real world, okay? So this orange one is Huxley's modification of Wallace line. Ah, interesting, this Huxley fella seems to be everywhere. So you have Lydekkers line, which was the newest, Weber's, which was the second, and Wallace, which was the first. And this is Huxley's modification to Wallace. Wallace's line was here, and then along comes Huxley and thinks, I think it's here. It's like, yeah, I think it's probably there too, otherwise Wallace wouldn't have put it there. It was Wallace that discovered them. He was the viceroy for the region, or one of those kind of noble titles. You know, making sure that the tribes of those regions were becoming civilized. this is in the real world, this here. So when you look at, now we'll go to the longitude, oh, dagnabbit. If you look at the longitudes for that region, you'll see distortions. It's like, yes, that's because that's there. Now the distortions, I place the longitudes, the distortions for the longitudes, because I have moved the arrangement of these islands. And when I was looking at sunrise and sunset, I had to chase the actual line where actual sunrise and sunset is in the real world. Like from Time and Date and other sources, they do show the world accurately. When you try to extrapolate what they show onto the globe, Google Earth has this huge, in fact, I'll tell you what, I was going to wrap up, but instead I'm going to show you right now how Google Earth has this huge margin of error. When you look at the details of how much light spreads over the Earth, it's 0.02 of a degree. It's not tens and tenths of miles. So I'm going to show Google Earth and what they do with sun, because Time and Date takes real data and they put it on a Mercator map. There you go, deal with that, bitches. Google Earth tries to portray the world as a sphere, but the world has this thing called sunlight and terminators. So when Google Earth tries to deal with sunlight and terminators, it has a bit of a problem because the Earth isn't a sphere. So, and the Mercator is not a map of the sphere, it's a map of the continents based on straight lines. You could turn my map into a Mercator map if you wanted. You would just cut it and spray it. Now, if we go here to sun, and if you turn this round so that, oh, here's that red line, that's the route. That's the one more orbit, not really doing an orbit route. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to place a terminator so that the Earth is not gibbous. Okay, so this is gibbous. So that the terminator is vertical. And I'm going by, well, the center here and the top here and the bottom there. Let me rotate a little bit to have it more vertically, more vertical. Right, so. Okay, I would say that's vertical. We can check using a nifty little trick called moving this to the edge of your screen. So I'm moving it to the edge of the screen to see if the bottom matches the top in terms of levels of luminosity. Let me rotate it like this. It's not quite, so I'm going to rotate. Maybe. Still keeping the terminator straight. And move this to the side, level of luminosity, no, more in the bottom, so like this. Okay, now this terminator is now straight. It's not a crescent, it's the terminator is vertical here on this globe. If I move it to the edge of the frame, see how far the sunlight is reaching over with the atmosphere? Yeah, because the sunlight reaches over. It only reaches over a tiny amount. Okay, now, see this vertical region here? There's a kind of vague and indistinct, like, oh, it's a shame. If you move it to the edge of the frame, it makes it clearer. Wait, let me make it slightly larger because my computer's not letting me move it to the edge of the frame. Okay. It makes it extra clear. Oh, now it's letting me. So I will make it smaller. Okay. That is nothing like half of the globe illuminated. You see? That's a lot more than half the globe. Now I'm going to go over here and set it to the equinox. So let's go to the 9th and the 23rd. Don't worry too much about it It's not the 23rd of it. You haven't chosen a time. Remember, this is the 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. Okay. And the Globelings will say, oh, yeah, no, that's just twilight. That's civil twilight. It's like, are you freaking nuts? Can you see how much this is supposed to be the equinox, right? Can you see how much beyond half of the globe is illuminated? It's like, heck, that's a heck of a lot more than half the globe. Huh. That's bizarre. That's like, that's a huge margin of error. That's right. You see, there are times in the year when Scotland has sunlight. Let me move the day. Scotland has sunlight. So at the end of the day, Scotland has sunlight. Like, the sun is still visible, and it's visible in New Zealand. Like, oh, but it's not the equinox period. It's like, do you know what period it is? If you don't know what period it is, shut your mouth. Okay. Oh, no, definitely no, because New Zealand's over here, right? So let's check. Let's check December, maybe. Let's check December. Sorry. Nope. Scotland not. Ha! That's a peculiar. You can fiddle with this to different dates where you'll have what will appear like New Zealand, kind of maybe, which will be like this, and Scotland, also kind of maybe. Okay? That's why this uber illumination of a sphere. Now, gases don't create this much Rayleigh scattering. That's just, well, it doesn't. And there are real scientists in the real world and the real military in the real world that know this. It doesn't stretch. This is approximately, well, I'm going to measure it. Let me make sure I'm not cheating. About here. I'm going to go from here, which will be the north, to, well, here. Let's see. 700 miles. Yeah. Yeah, right. So, no. This just tries to, well, express the real world through this globe imagination. It can't quite do it. So it tries to hedge its bets by saying, oh, no, it's not half the Earth that's illuminated. You know how you get half the moon illuminated when you've got a quarter moon? Yeah. The Earth, no, like way more. Way more. Huh. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you enjoy the maps. You see, there are real people in the real world, real flat earthers, that are doing real looking at the real world and going, hey, if I speak with my pal in New Zealand on Skype, and I can see the moon, sorry, the sun, and he can see the sun, then the sun's visible for both of us. Go to the globe, and that's not doable. On physical globes, especially. Shine a light. Like, there was a challenge put out there that none of the Globelings met. Like, none, zero. Don't think of Wolfie, that guy. God, that's a clown shoe. He didn't meet it either. None, zero. But Google Earth says, oh no, because the light reaches this much farther. It's like, it's a lie, guys. It's a lie. Light isn't the thing that we've been taught. It's not the thing that scientists think it is. And sooner or later, what I'm saying will be understood and accepted. And I'll be like, huh, that's weird. Some crazy half-wit flat earther kind of guessed this. Huh, bizarre. Antonio, got it. Thank you. You're welcome. Do you have any thoughts that you're willing to share on how many other sun world systems might be near around us? I made a video with Orphan Red. I made a video with myself too. Let me see if I can find it. Where I showed 3. My thoughts are that I can't think of a limit of why. Let me see which one it was. So which limiting factors might apply that might say, and it ends here, you know? Let's see. What was it called, Dagnabbit? I think it might be this. Short Hangout. Yes, it is. Mute. Let's see. Tell me it isn't. I'm just looking to see if this is one. Aha. Here. Nope. Here. There. Okay, so it was my previous one. This one. Let's see. There you go. This is just a visualization. This is the pond that I think is going to be whose sun is going to join ours. This pond here. This is the region where the Antarctic has been melting the most, by the way. This is also the region that's being studied the most. This is the region where it's like, oh, everybody party, everybody look over here. This is where the serious stuff is going on here. There's also this region and this region. Now, Matt Powerland had a video, or has a video, with a very small clip of a camera in Antarctica that was passed to him. The camera is filming the sun. The sun is scrolling to the left. To the... to the left. The sun is scrolling to the left. So within the frame, you have snow and the shadows from the snow and from the camera moving ahead from, I think it was from right to left, I think. No, it wasn't. It was from left to right. And then, as this is happening, you see ahead in the distance, above the horizon, the sun, a sun, moving from right to left. It's like, whoa, that's not, that can't be this sun, because this sun is sending shadows in this direction. The heck is that sun? And it's just a small clip in one of his kind of older videos. A short clip. What the heck is that? So anyway, yeah, that's what I think is going on. In terms of how many ponds, I think perhaps an infinite number. I can't think of something that would limit the number, because that would be like saying, well, there might be also a limit to the ability of the thing we call God, or there has to be a reason for something to end. If there isn't that reason, then there isn't the end, or there isn't that end. So I think my personal thoughts are that there's an endless number, and that the size of them is endless in size, very much like the astronomers tell us about the stars. And you see that star, it's a tiny little star. It looks about the same size as that other star. Well, the first star, you know, let me now stop screen sharing. Oh, wait, am I still screen sharing? I don't know. I think I might have closed down. Sorry, guys, if I have. Right. No, yeah, I'm still sharing. Whew. Okay. So, yeah, astronomer. See that tiny little star? Yes. See that tiny little star to the right of it? Yes. Well, the first star, you know, the one on the left? Yeah. 100 million billion times bigger than the one on the right. That kind of stuff that astronomers tell about the stars. I think that might be something that's happening on this plane, but it's not stars, it's ponds. I think it gets to a point where the frequencies change between ponds, where a new circle is described, where a new sun is established, describing a new circle, and then the ice freezing between ponds. There might be times where this happens in a whole series of ponds of different size. That and oh, what a shame! What I'm saying is muted. Let me see.
Endless number, and that the size of them is endless in size, very much like the astronomers tell us about the stars. And you see that star? It's a tiny little star. It looks about the same size as that other star. Well, the first star, you know. Let me now stop screen sharing. Oh, wait, am I still screen sharing? I don't know.
Apologies, I'm just looking at my feed because I saw my avatar flash up, which is what happens when the transmission is interrupted. Usually when I'm saying something a bit too inappropriate for whoever it is that likes to do the interrupting.
I think I might have closed down. Sorry, guys, if I have.
Yeah, interrupted. Okay. So I'm going to go back to see and repeat. Let's see if they're interrupted again. Let's see what part they interrupted.
There has to be a reason for something to end. If there isn't that reason, then there isn't the end.
Right. So I was saying I can picture. Now let me make sure that it doesn't. The stream doesn't mysteriously just get cut again. Right. I can imagine, just like the astronomers and the astrophysicists say about sizes of suns, I think there's lots of truth being spoken, but in a wrong matrix. If there are different sized ponds, and there's no reason there wouldn't be, you could have a state where the frequencies change between suns, the waters melt in a much larger area, comprising ponds our size and ponds much larger, where there's a big shift. This big shift would have the people under the much bigger sun, or the much bigger day, the much higher sky. Those people, if their sky starts coming down, would move to where the sky is not coming down. They would share land for a period at least with smaller beings, the people native to those ponds. Now, is this just conjecture? It's like, it's not really just conjecture. It's a bit of inference and a bit of deductive reasoning. You see, in this world, which has been growing, we know, because we have skeletons of humans, apart from this pond used to be smaller that people don't understand just yet, for some reason, the humans used to be smaller. Like really, like Genghis Khan, tiny. Julius Caesar, tiny. All of the Caesars, tiny. Alexander the Great, all of them, tiny people. Native Americans, however, tall. At the same time as tiny, tiny here, tall there. It's because they were on the different sun, in a different pond. South Americans, they were under a different sun and they were tiny. Okay, now everything combined and the height of everyone, including South Americans, is increasing. The size of us and the rest of the creatures depends on how high the sky is, the amount of pressure and the amount of oxygen and other elements. So when it gets to a point that various worlds collapse, the skies collapse, we'll have movement of races. If some of these races are much larger than others, those races will be called, well, giants by the small people. And the small people will be called, well, hobbits by the giants, or something like that, halflings. So that's it. And you know what? The best thing is that none of this has to be believed. Nobody has to believe a word of this. You can just wait and see. Just wait and see, because it will happen sooner or later. Now, either you see it in your life, it really will happen in the real world, in the next, by 2064, different world. By 2064, different world. If you pass away before then, you'll see it from the next realm. If it doesn't happen in 2064 and it happens later or happens before, no matter what, you'll see it from the next realm. You'll see it. So, there you go. Recuerdo lo del Hangout deja de funcionar este 31. Sí. Pasa todo el rato. It's curious that races only began to intermingling recently, as if we've not been together that long, but look at Japan, practically untouched. How many years? Yes, HS Dark. Yes, you have cultures that are where part of their tradition, and they have no shame, is xenophobia. They don't call it xenophobia. They call it traditionalism. You know, purity. But in the West, you can't say purity. That's Nazi. But in Japan, you can. The Chinese also don't mingle very much. You know, generally speaking. In China, the Chinese, they don't mingle very much. You also, I don't think, have any Chinese Jews. And you have lots of Chinese in Israel. IN26, can I get your email address? Antonio Subiras arts at yahoo.com. Antonio Subiras arts at yahoo.com. There you go. So here we have in this pond, remnants of tiny adults. We also have in this pond remnants of huge adults. In this pond, this is not like, oh, conspiracy theory. Like, no, guys, these are like bones. This is like real world. We have in Russia, in the Middle East, myths of giants. Everywhere myths of giants, but in Russia, different myth of giants. See, we have Atlas. Well, in Russia, they have the Atlanteans. There's just a race of giants. And these are depicted in museums, carved in stone, marble probably, giants with a human being up to their knee. Like, here's a giant, and next to the giant is a human being, an adult, that comes up to their knee. Now, if you think of the story of Atlas holding up the sky, like, why would Atlas be holding up the sky? Why? What would that mean? Could it be he didn't want the sky to drop because they can't live under a dropped sky? Could it be that? Could it be a system they were trying to slow things down so that the little people could sort themselves out, go underground and shield themselves from the new radiation? It's something. It's not nothing. So I posit some ideas in the Book of the Sun, and I'm going to continue. Genghis Khan, yes. I'm going to continue positing ideas. You see, this is a thing. I had a wave of paranoia. I took way too much THC one night, THC oil, to sleep. But I didn't go to sleep straight away. Instead, I went into a world of hellish paranoia. Like, the heck are you doing with this book? And later I thought, hey, hold on a freaking minute. You have astrophysics writing all kinds of complete gibberish as if it was true. Like real, like you want to look at some of the stuff that gets written in quantum mechanics or string theory. It's just such a bunch of gibberish. Like, if you haven't read any or seen any of the lectures, like, you're missing out. So I thought, hey, if these clown shoes can make up complete nonsense, you can tell people stuff about the world that's actually there and people can go and check. The times and dates for things, that could be, could happen worse, could be accelerated by 5G. Could be, you know, because that's radiation and the sun and who knows? Who knows? But this is the thing. God, I'm roasting now. There are things in this world that mainstream ignore. They compartmentalize. Like, history is science. Don't mingle. Like, no, this world, you can't say not mingle. You got to go, wait, what's happening here? You have to go, science. What's happening here? What are these ancient cities in the size of the hills in the Near East? What are they? Who? Science, common. Instead, no, you have conjecture from historians and archaeologists. Well, we think this was Christians because there's crosses. Oh, really? Anyway, there you go. Guys, I'm bailing because I wanted to bail earlier, but I went on a bit. So enjoy. Hasta luego. Bye.